Hello everyone and welcome to the first annual GWIPTYs, and this year we will have 6 of the top games that I played this year. Now, what's important to note about these awards as opposed to the sort of everyone's best games that came out in 2016, these are just the top 6 games that I played in 2016. So some of them did come out this year and some of them didn't. So without waffling too much on about this for just introduction, let's get straight in at number 6.
Is this what you were expecting?
Dragon Age 2. Yeah, so this is what I mean when I say these are the top 6 games that I played this year. Because in this year, actually, I played all of the Dragon Age games. Well, the main series. I think there's some spin-offs or some mobile shit, but nobody cares. But Dragon Age 2, I thought, was the best of the main 3, which is probably why most of you are tuned out right now. But yeah, I honestly enjoyed this game probably the most. I don't think it's the best game, if that makes sense. I think probably Origins was like the best game in terms of design, writing, blah, 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 as a complete package. Inquisition, I thought, probably would have been better if it was half the game. But Dragon Age 2, just think about it. I don't know. I think there's a game in there that if they'd spent more time developing would have been like the best game. Because it does feel rushed out. There's a lot of criticisms of this game that are leveled at it, which are very valid. The reuse of areas is definitely the most damning example of this in the game, where like you go into a cavern and bits of it are blocked off, and then you go into a different cavern somewhere else, but you're in the same map, just with different areas blocked off. Things like that really do detract from it. There's sort of 2 games in Dragon Age. There's the traditional Dragon Age that we know, which is you are the hero, go save the world, and you can do all this different stuff. But there's also this story of you in the city, trying to make a go of it, and that's the story that I think I really enjoy the most. Some people have criticised it for not having an overarching antagonist, and I actually think that works really well because, again, you're not really fighting against anyone, you're just trying to do the best you can. Admittedly, at the end, it all kicks off and sort of sets up the next game, but up until that point, I think it worked really well, just going on adventure after adventure and climbing up the social ladder, and if anything, I wish there'd been more of it. It's just 2 games that put together made this complete mess of a game that somehow entertained the hell out of me for a good 40 or so hours.
You've settled in nicely. I deserve it.
Number 5. Sunless Sea. This is actually the reason this is a top 6 and not a top 5, because I originally picked out top 5, and then when I was just sort of mulling it over, I played Sunless Sea, and I had to put it in the list. But I still wanted to talk about the games I'd already thought about, so that was top 6. But Sunless Sea just really got me straight away. It came out 2015. It's a very simple game. There's no voice acting. There's very simple music, but the music is effective. There's a lot of sound effects of just like the dripping of the caves and not much going on. And you feel very when you are out in the sea, you feel very alone and bleak. And it just captures the sort of love. It's not Lovecraftian itself, but it's Lovecraftian in nature, and it just captures that setting very well. There's so many stories. You go to places, and every place has its own story, even if it's just small. And in the writing, you just like see bits and pieces of what's going on. And like I think there's like a fungus farm where the sailors are too scared to eat the fungus because they think they'll become the fungus. And there's murmurings of like maybe that's true, maybe it's not. And you go mad as the longer you're out at the sea, or you come back to London and you feel a bit better, but you get nightmares if you've been too mad. So yeah, there's a lot to it. I'm not too far in, but I love finding a new place and getting the story from it, and also just the fact that you go to different places in different orders. You kind of make your own story of your character and everything, and you can have just very different experience. It's a rogue, like I haven't actually died yet, so I don't know what the replay is going to be like, but I just love going off on a trip for the Admiralty to just go, I'm just going to go inspect these ports, get some money, and then inevitably I hobble back on a ship that's nearly sank with no money, no fuel, and no supplies. And there was the one time I had to eat a crew member, but we don't talk about that. Number 4.
My, what a freak.
The Witcher 3. This is actually a lot lower than I expected from when I first played it, because I'm a big Witcher fan. I've read most of the books. I'm still working on the last one, and I love the first 2 games. Actually, I really love the first one a lot more than most people do. But yeah, I think part of the reason I expected Witcher 3 to be the game of the year any year I played it, and it's good, don't get me wrong, but I think part of it was because I was fatigued from playing all the Dragon Age games. I was RPG'd out, so I couldn't get into it as much as I wanted to. That being said, it was still better than all the Dragon Age games anyway. So I actually thought to myself, rather than enjoying this quite a bit, I'm going to wait. I played about 50 hours of it, and it's fantastic. The writing's so good. Everyone knows about the Bloody Baron questline by now. But it's not even just the main stories, it's the side quests. The side quests are sometimes as well written as the main quests. You can just go stumble across someone where in another game it would just be go from A to B, fetch thing from B and bring back to A. There's a lot to it. There's like murder mysteries, there's like lovers who are scorned, A lot of it's human, and sometimes it's a monster, and all the time it's pretty satisfying. Well, I say it's satisfying, like usually a lot of people have died, so it's quite grim, but you get the idea. The writing is satisfying. This is one of the things that sounds really daft, but it's one of the few games I can actually just have a wander in. There's not many games you can do that. It's just so weird. Like, the way the trees move, it's so good. And I can just sometimes, like, you can fast travel, and, you know, I fast travel quite a bit because I'm impatient and lazy. But sometimes you just think, I'm just gonna have a wander. And I don't even run. It's just like wandering past the countryside. I did it a lot in White Orchard because it was quite a small map. There's a lot packed into there. So you can just go from A to B on your horse, nice and slow, or wander through the streets of Novigrad and just take it easy. I'm actually probably waited long enough now that I'm going to go back and play it pretty soon. So you never know, you might be seeing this again next year. Number 3.
Tactics mean doing what you can with what you have.
Civilization 6. Yeah, so a game that came out this year. Civ 6 is a funny one because I got into Civ 5 during the hype up to its release. I was looking at Civ 6 with the district system, and I really wasn't sure about it. It actually took me a lot of almost an hour about whether I should pick it up straight away, but actually just from the preview stuff that I saw a lot of Quillette, Total Biscuit, and a couple of others, and it looked pretty good actually, sort of like in practice. So I picked it up. I'm pleased to say that I really enjoy it. I think it was probably the most hours I've played of one game in a week. Like the fastest to 40 hours in a good long while. I got this and I just was like staying up till 2 in the morning playing games. And I've also been streaming it, which is good fun. And yeah, seems to be a lot of depth to it. I mean, I'm no master or anything at it, but I'm really enjoying it. I like building my cities. I like naming them things, which you can do now. Just for example, when I was trying to record the video for this, which is my Emperor run on Egyptian, I ended up recording an hour and a half by accident and filling up my hard drive because I was just like, oh, I'll just do this. I'll just wait. I've got to wait till this wonder's finished. It's just very addictive. And the game, they say, the game itself, fantastic. The district system works really well. It gives you a whole other dimension to placing cities. Sean Bean's fantastic in it. The wonders, when you build a wonder, you really want to get it just to have that animation every time. It's so satisfying seeing all the bricks get placed. But yeah, I mean, it's not perfect. I would say, for example, the fact that the AI on harder difficulties just gets massive bonuses, sort of prevents you from doing things like religion or wonders. It'd be better if they were actually, more competent as opposed to just cheating. But I think that's the case for most Civ games and most AIs in general, to be fair. It just makes it a bit awkward if I wanted to do a religious run on anything above King difficulty, as any of you who see my stream will know about. But other than that, really solid game, spent a lot of hours, definitely worth your time.
Church and state, soul and body, God and man are all one at Mont Saint Michel. And the business of all is to fight, each in his own way, or to stand guard for each other.
Number 2.
Got an urgent communication coming in for you now, Commander.
XCOM 2. Yep, another Firaxis game that came out this year. Absolutely fantastic. They had a really good year with Civ and XCOM. Yeah, the game itself is fantastic. There's so much more detail in it now. It definitely looks like it had a much bigger budget than the first one. It's just the way you can customize your soldiers. There's more stuff on the battlefield. Like, everything looks lived in. You're playing like for a guerrilla position now, so it kind of works with the flying around in the Avenger and you're scavenging for resources and stuff. The only issue I had with it was I tried to over-stealth it at the start, which meant usually just ending up in really unfavorable scenarios. The timers have proved a bit controversial to some, and I'm sort of up and down on them, but with mods now you can just turn it off, and there are a lot of mods out there. I've already seen like other mods that like take the timers out but give you reinforcements. I've seen like a million voice packs from like Deadpool to Solid Snake. I've seen armor from Halo, from Mass Effect. It's fantastic. There's just so much to it. The best bit about it is making the story with your soldiers, because they're so customizable. You can just make them into anything. They get their own story. There's the guy who always misses. There's the guy who gets all the shots that they shouldn't, August. And yeah, there's a reason it sort of got me to do videos on it. It's just because I enjoy telling stories through it so much, and I enjoy sort of starting a story and then watching it all fall to pieces as fate finds a way just to kill your character on a 0.05% chance or something, was it? It's ridiculous. Still mad about that, but otherwise, fantastic game. I'm just going to keep playing it and doing some more stuff with it.
Commander, I hope that your ongoing efforts will only lead to further success.
And number 1, the best game what I played in 2016. Doom. This game is absolutely fantastic. Came out of nowhere to everyone's surprise and just grabbed the game industry by the head and just kept punching while screaming, "Are you having fun yet?" And all the fun just sprayed out of everyone's eyes and mouth, and they go, "Yes!" And the metal soundtrack in the background going. Oh yes, this game is just fantastic. Every time I sat down to play a level of Doom, I just had a great time. Every level, it was just brilliant. And it just kept mixing it up with, new guns or like the power-ups. When you're getting the BFG and there's like a room full of zombies, you just eviscerate them all in pools of blood and different enemies and the glory kills and everything just comes together with this game to make it fantastic. And it's just the most fun I've had with any game this year. By a good amount, I suppose, like for the single player campaign, and I was finished it in about sort of, I think, 18 hours, and then it was done. But those 18 hours were absolutely fantastic. Just, I had it on a high-ish difficulty. I'm like not the best at shooters or anything, but going in there and going into an arena and the music hits and you just sort of go, 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 and you're just running around. You can't stand still. Eventually when the music just sort of calms down, you're just there going because it's just like the adrenaline's going, because you don't know if there's like going to be a baron of hell around the corner or just an imp, and you've got your shotgun and you're just running, switching guns, doing jumps and flying all over the place. It's just an adrenaline shot non-stop. It's fantastic. Definitely the best game I played this year. The DLC is interesting. I haven't played it, but I'm convinced Bethesda thought this was going to be a multiplayer game, because they gave a multiplayer beta out when that did really shit. They didn't let anyone play it until the game was ready to launch, and I'm convinced they've like, this is a shooter, so it's going to be multiplayer, right? We can't put this out there. And then everyone was like, no, you don't understand. We want the single player. And I still think that's why there's loads of multiplayer DLC and not single player DLC. I have no idea, but that's my sort of theory, that basically they were expecting Call of Duty and they accidentally crapped out a masterpiece. But we'll see if they get some single player DLC soon, and if they do, then I'll be straight on that. It's a fantastic game. Best game of the year.
I am losing preparing capabilities. Control of normal and more.
And those are the top 6 games what I played this year of 2016. There's some standard picks in there and some a bit different. If you agree or disagree with me, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. 2017 for the channel, I'll be doing more XCOM 2 both on YouTube and on Twitch now that we've wrapped up Civ 6 for the time being. And also I'm hoping to make more videos on just a few smaller strategy games, more the traditional Let's Play style. Anyway, if you made it this far, thank you very much for watching, and until next time.